In the cut.
Hello. What's going on, everybody? Welcome. We are live in the cut, episode 23. Very special guest today, and we got an amazing topic that we're gonna be speaking about today. But before I get into that, it's Wednesday. It's August 31st. Hope everyone had an amazing week thus far. Happy Hump Day for everybody that's tapping in. If you are on here, if it's your first time tuning in. If you're tuning in from YouTube or Twitch or Facebook, you can comment in the section. We'll be able to read it and respond live. If you're watching this on replay, make sure you share it, you drop a like, and we definitely gonna have some fun with this. But I want to dive right into it and introduce our special guest today. One of our very good friends, Despina, who happens to be have an amazing background in law. Real estate law, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And she also is the co-owner of Forte Lab NYC, which is a gym in Astoria, which we'll get into later on as well. And she wears a lot of hats, right? She helps a lot of people. She, if I'm right, she also teaches dance somewhere, somehow. Yeah. So if you know who Despina is, show some love in the chat, say hello, and show some love. But for those who don't know who you are, let them know a little bit about you, what you do, and how you got to this point.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you for having me.
Yes,
I'm really excited to be here, everybody. This is my first live podcast. So
live in the cut.
I'm nervous, hence the tequila beverage right here. Thank you.
drink champs.
Cheers to that.
So, a lot of people don't know exactly who you are, your background, but she's actually, when we met through a good friend of ours, our family at Better Body. And, I was looking for an attorney to review my lease for the space.
Right.
And I got introduced to Despina, and, I got to say, I didn't even know that you needed an attorney to even do any of this. But thank God I did. And, now we're here.
In this amazing barbershop.
Almost
if
9
you guys
months.
haven't been here, you better come visit because it's phenomenal, beautiful.
Thank you. So, I wouldn't be here, without the connection. So, but yeah, just give a little bit about who you are.
Okay, so I am a lawyer, that is correct. I've been a lawyer for almost, I would say, 10 years now,
Wow.
roughly. Yeah, it makes me feel a little old. But yeah, I happen to be experienced. So I happen to be in-house at a title insurance company, and I do real estate, commercial real estate law. Before that, I had done some residential real estate. I did a few divorces and some wills, trust and estates. Not the uncontested divorces, not the contested.
Gotcha.
Those are a little messy.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so my background is I'm an attorney by trade. That's what I do, and yeah, and so we're at this transition, as you mentioned, where I am in the process of opening up a gym in Astoria, Queens, with my business partner Apostolis Bakalis. Shout out to Apostolis.
Shout out to, I wish I could say that name, but shout out to you, my boy. That's awesome. And so if you're in trouble, this is the person you gotta call.
Don't call me. Actually, my best friend is an ADA at the Queens District Attorney's Office. You call her, but don't call me. Shout out to Nelly.
That's funny. Okay, so you've been doing law for 10 years, right? How is that like? Because that's also a journey too. It's not easy to get to that point.
Yeah, I mean, law school was tough. It was, you gotta have a lot of discipline and sacrifice. Like, the first year I kind of had to dorm there and live there because you have no life but studying all the time. So those 3 years were really tough. But the skills I learned, the relationships I made, and just everything about that, looking back, I am so grateful for it all. Because I have used those skills in many arenas of my life, not just in representing clients or closing deals. I have used them, in so many different things. So I am truly grateful for those skills.
Do you think that this is actually something I think about too, with my, career? Do you think that you chose the law route or that it chose you?
That's a good question. Wow. I don't know. When I was in 10th grade, I used to, in Bryan High School, by the way, shout out to Bryan High School.
No, wait, you went to Bryan?
Yeah.
I went to Bryan too.
What?
Jesus.
I'm allowed.
Shout out to Bryan, though. Bryan High School.
There you go. We didn't even know that. Look at that. But I used to carry around the Constitution and memorize the amendments like a nerd. I know I'm embarrassed to say that, but I used to do that. And Mr. Miller, my history teacher, we used to do these back and forth quizzes, and I'm like, no, this is
wow. So shout out to Bryan. Anyone who went to Bryan High School?
Yeah, in the comments, you better come.
I was in the law program.
Oh my god.
Yeah, there was 2 teachers. One of my favorite teachers. If they ever see this, actually, one of them follows me. We're friends on Facebook. First name is April. It's funny, her first name is April, and I don't even know her. I forgot her last name. Hold on while I replace this real quick. But that's funny. You went to Bryan.
Wow. So I don't even want to ask when you graduated because it's probably way before me.
Honestly, I don't even recall myself with year. But yeah, Bryan was fun. I was in the law program. That's actually one of the main reasons I went to Bryan was for the law program because they said that they take a lot of field trips. So I was like, I'll take the field trip. We went to like jails. We visited the jail. We went to it was a bunch of things that they had in the law program. So shout out to Bryan Law.
Wow.
So.
But I don't know if it. I mean, you know what? I mean, what about you? Do you think that your career path it chose you or you fell into?
Barbering. Funny people. I had a few friends that reached out to me that was like, hey, if you want to cut. You can cut at my barbershop. One of them was my first barber. One of the first barbers I went to, my boy Jose, at Woodside Barbershop. He said, hey, you want to come work with me? I tried it out. Like, Jose, listen, if you met me a little bit later on, I would have worked with you. But my mom was like, I said, I'm going to be a barber. My mom was like, what? You better get your ass to school. I'm like, dang, all right, cool. I guess I'm not going to be a barber. But I think what ended up happening was I realized that I needed to network with more people. And I understood that barbering was a really great way to just meet people that I would have normally never get in contact with on a regular basis. And it also was more of a creative thing as well, because I've done many types of jobs. I've done the office job. I've done, I worked with kids for a long time. So many different things. And I realized, one, I just couldn't be sitting in place for too long. And I realized I needed to have the left side of my brain, the creative side, working, and barbering was that. But it was not something that like
premeditated.
Yeah, no, there's a trend. There's a trend going on Instagram, on social media right now, where you have like a throwback picture, and no, you have like a current picture of what you do, and then it transitions to a baby picture, and you're like, yeah, never would have guessed I would have been a barber. Never would have guessed I was a lawyer. Wait, I'm a lawyer. So but yeah, I mean, because again, law, going back.
I guess if you want to, I'm the eldest of three, right? So if you would ask my father, he'd probably say I have the biggest mouth and I always am advocating on behalf of my
You're
sisters and
perfect.
everybody
Yeah,
else.
you're perfect.
So he probably would say I was born for this. But so I guess in a way it was kind of my passion. Like I always wanted to advocate on behalf of those who couldn't. Actually, my career started in public interest, which is crazy that I did real estate after that, because I did prisoners' rights. I did legal services for the deaf.
Wow.
I worked at Creedmoor. I did legal services for the mentally ill. So I went that route of public interest, want to help, but then I had a very hard time getting a government job. Graduating, everybody grabs those government jobs of
Right.
like, they're few and far in between. And then real estate kind of just fell into my lap. And if I look back, I could tell you property was my worst grade in law school. So I'm like, I'm not going to be a real estate lawyer.
Right.
But then going to the closings and meeting the people and sitting down and I'm negotiating, I'm like, okay, I think I could do this.
Right, right.
It was like you needed like you had to be a people's person. And I love meeting people, talking to people. So I was like, okay, this could work.
Gotcha.
So.
Yeah, no, listen, again, wouldn't be here without you. So let's go. So the transition into the fitness world, right? This is, the whole thing, right? So for everybody, if anybody saw the flyer earlier that might have said career change, I'll take ownership on that and say she's not leaving her current job. She's still practicing law. But it was actually a play on, and I'm glad it worked out that way, where people were kind of just like, oh, wait, you're leaving what you do, like, and you're good at what you do. Why would you leave? And, which brings me to the topic, the main topic, which is, which is change, right? Change and having to make a decision, which coming out of the pandemic, which was a huge topic where, I had a lot of friends who were nurses that woke up and said, mid-pandemic, they were like, you know what? I'm going to be a baker, or I'm going to be a physical therapist. Like, I'm going to open up my own business. I'm going to open up my own barbershop, nail salon, things like that. And, a lot of people, I think before the pandemic, before there was really like that thought of like, man, what's going to happen after this? I think people were, if you were doing something for so long, like I was, you might be a nurse for X amount of years. You might be a barber for X amount of years, you might be a teacher for X amount of years, and you get up and say one day, like, I'm gonna do something completely different from what I've been doing. And you might have been thinking about it for like a long time. You might have been thinking about fitness for a long time. But to people, it's like, well, this is new to us. What do you know about what you about to do, right? And not to be condescending, but in a safety kind of point, people are quick to be like, man, you must be you crazy to stop what you're doing, or even thinking about it. Because you're actually good at what you do. Like, I could imagine a bunch of people telling me right now, like, damn, Jack, if you ever like think about not cutting hair, people would probably be, there's a few people that would probably be a little upset like that I'm cutting hair, and not even clients, more so like people that just, again, know me as a barber, and they're like, yeah, but you're good at what you do. Why would you do something different? Or why would you even think about, straying away from that? And I just realized that there's always another level to things.
Yeah, and why should you be boxed into this, like, I'm comfortable here. Like, I'm comfortable. I can continue getting this paycheck, working this 9 to 6, and keep going, have my blinders on, close these deals, and not explore and see what else could I be good at? What else could I offer the world? How else can I serve? connect with people, learn things about myself, learn things about others. Like, why not? You know, it's like playing safe. And when people see, you know, you're not playing safe, you get fears instilled inside. And then their fears are, you know, projected on you. And that happened to me, you know, like people were like, what do you mean? You're going to open up a gym? Like, don't leave your job. No, are you crazy?
How long were you doing law? You said 10 years.
Almost like 10 years.
So I'm sure there's a bunch of people that know you as Despina the lawyer.
Somebody actually asked me, well, how are you going to brand yourself now? You know, like you can't be a lawyer and a fitness owner. And I'm like, why? Why not? Why do I have to just box myself in?
Right.
You know, I mean, and you experienced that. You can't be a DJ and a barber and a podcast.
Oh,
you can't. What, are you crazy?
Right. No, yeah, it's something that I had to show before people could accept that it was like, yo, that's the real deal. And I think that as me personally, as with knowing what I know now, if somebody, there's a saying that you know, if you knew me yesterday, you don't know me today. And you know, it sounds so simple, but in the truth is that there's people that are on just another level of learning and abundancy, that they're looking for something different. That today they might be one thing, you know, a lawyer, and the next tomorrow they might want to start an Airbnb business. Shout out to Kairis, who is my homegirl. She was on one of our episodes as well. And yeah, she's another person, like never did Airbnb before, but very talented entrepreneur. And she woke up, she was like, hey, I'm gonna try Airbnb out. No background at all, but now has their own course teaching Airbnb.
That's amazing.
So
instead of playing it safe and just sticking to this one arena, and it doesn't mean, like, a lot of people feel like, wow, like you're gonna let go. Like, okay, so I have a cousin who is older. He's in his 50s. He's in Greece. He came to the States. He studied engineering background, everything. Decided he was gonna get up and leave and open up 2 shoe stores in Greece. That old school mentality. His mother, everyone was like, oh my God, what are you doing? How dare, why, you know, but turned out to be like successful shoe stores, opened up a 3rd, opened up a 4th, you know, and just, he loved it. He felt free. He felt like, this is what I want to do. I love it.
Right.
You know, and
there's so many people in that position. You know, like, listen, if you listening to this right now, I see you guys on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. Shout out to you guys. Twitch. And, you know, like, if you was ever in that position, tell me if I'm wrong. Like, you decided to do, maybe you say, you know what, I'm going to start streaming, right? So streaming is a thing that a lot of people in my generation, or even younger, probably could relate to this, where, you know, you're playing video games at home. Your parents are like, man, what are you doing playing video games? Like, you're wasting your time. And again, yes, until there was a lane where you could make money playing video games, where now people are on places like Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, literally playing video games and getting paid. But if you told that to somebody who had no idea that there was an actual business model behind it or some sort of passion behind it, they would have laughed at you, saying like, wait, you're gonna sit at home and play video games and expect to get paid like full time. And it's happening now. So, you know, I see a lot of people that are on here. If you've ever experienced that, let us know in the chat. I know there's a bunch of y'all on here that, you know, there's a bunch of y'all that are on here that are Filipino that say, you know what, I'm done being nurses and I'm going to get up and be a dancer or a singer or, you know, and the truth of the matter is, besides the stereotypical is, you know, we experience that, I think, when we put ourselves with our back against the wall. You know, whether it's a pandemic or, you know, your job cutting you off or whatever it is, and your back is against the wall, and now you got to make a decision and say, I'm going to do something completely different that I'm passionate about, that's been in my heart. I might have not told people about it, but my mind says this, my heart says this. And
I mean, sometimes I had friends getting laid off of work during the pandemic was actually a blessing in disguise for them, because it kind of forced them to do things that they never thought. And they were like so upset, like, oh my God, I just got laid off. It was the worst thing ever. And I'm like, hold on a second, but you weren't happy in that job. That's not what you love. That's not, you know, why don't you take this time and reevaluate? It doesn't mean, you know, like you're disappointing people or you're letting go a past version of yourself. You're evolving.
Right.
We're made to evolve, right? You know, as human beings, like evolve, learn, grow. That's like who we are and what we are meant to do.
If you're not growing, you're dying.
Yeah.
Is what they say. So now you could have chose anything really,
Right.
but you decided to go that route. Why?
So I decided to go this route for many reasons. I mean, one, obviously, like I strongly believe in exercise and health and wellness, and something that I don't think you know, and I don't think a lot of people know is at 26, I actually had breast cancer. And so I'm a survivor, and during that time,
Shout out to survivor.
Thank you. So during that time, I sought out and did yoga, mobility work, and just all these other things that did not require me to take all the prescriptions the doctors wanted me to take at the time or whatnot. So I'm all about, you know, health, wellness, mindset, kind of just like beating it your way on your terms, kind of going out there and being like, you know what, your body can heal itself. And so that's kind of where I'm always, I don't even like to take Tylenol if I don't have to. So I'm all about, you know, self-healing. And, you know, I was,
the Vicks Vapor Rub is the key.
there you go. So I kind of always been into exercise, and I always wanted to build something with connecting with people. I was part of a nonprofit for many, many years. Shout out to the Carnival of Love Foundation, where we're helping kids, and we're about children's wellness. And that was such a great time in my life that I sat back and I said, how can I connect helping people and what I love and what healed me and make that my everyday?
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of just fell together. And here I am now, how many years later, opening up a center, opening up a gym. I don't like to say gym because I feel like it's going to be so much more than that. But yes, just opening up a center for people to come and just, you know, heal themselves, be themselves, and just work towards something better.
I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. I mean, and that's actually one of the greatest things is to find something that you're passionate about, or find something that you want to get involved in. Not only because it literally saved your life, but it's something that now you could put other people in position to be in a better place, right? Again, open up a gym. So, Forte Labs NYC, right? It's a partnership that you guys have going on, and I think about different gyms, obviously different gym models and things like that. But like, what's something that what's one of the favorite things about Forte Lab that you would want to tell people about?
So first, I want to say that I don't know if you know or everyone listening knows that Forte means strength, right? And it's not just about physical strength; it's about mental strength. It's about psychological strength. It's about, having the strength to sit here and create a podcast like you've done, taking courage, bravery. And so for us and my business partner, we wanted to create a space that is going to be kind of boutique fitness. That's one size doesn't fit all, right? So you're going to have personal training. You're going to have your recovery, your sauna, your cold plunge. You're going to have, you mentioned dance. Just so happens, yes, I do teach Greek dance.
You heard it here first.
I don't like.
You better sign up now.
No, I don't like to advertise it because it's a friends and family thing, but it has become more than that. And shout out to my last student, James, who just got married this past summer, who is not Greek, who married a Greek woman and just killed it at his wedding. So shout out to James.
I knew I saw something in your stories. I was like, hold on, she's teaching dance.
Great job. So, but yeah, just creative expression and having all of that under one roof, spin, things that you could just find in one place and not have to go anywhere else and just make it feel like home.
Gotcha.
That's kind of what we're going for.
Nice. So, I definitely want to go into that, the fitness world and the business of it, because, it's actually it's a huge deal. It's kind of like, it reminds me a lot like barbering, where, you could be naturally fit, and you might be attracted to working out and things like that, being healthy, but owning a business comes with more work than just the passions of being healthy. Same thing with cutting hair. It's like, yes, you could be a talented barber, but to have a barbershop to lead a team, to, you know, have a vision. It's like a whole nother thing. So, you know, I definitely want to get into that. But so, you know, the main thing is the transition, right? I'm sure there's a lot of people that are like, you know, have you ever opened up a gym before? You know, or
gosh.
like, you know,
or asking my business partner, why are you partnering with someone who's not a fitness professional? Why are you partnering with someone who's
how do you deal with that type of stuff?
Yeah, that was hard, and I learned something about business a while ago, and I keep having to remind myself. And my mentor and friend Nick Neopoulos, I just want to shout him out because he told me to take the emotion out of it. And it's so hard because I'm super emotional at times, but you know, being a Cancer and a woman and a Greek woman, super emotional at times, but I've had to take the emotion out of it. It's just business. And so I keep reminding myself that. So I'm taking all these judgments, criticism, and luckily my business partner turned around and he was like, well, she has skills that I don't have. I have skills that she doesn't have. And somehow together we're creating something that the average person can't create because we're bringing different skills to the table. And I'm learning from him. He's learning from me. And it's a great collaborative effort. And I'm always about working with a team, learning. I'm a student of life, I say all the time. You know, I want to learn from whoever I sit down with and connect with. And so he's been able to just answer in that way, in that respect, to say, well, you know what? Yeah, have I ever owned the gym? No, I've never owned the gym. Have you ever owned the barbershop before today?
No.
You know, but this place looks great, and you're skilled, and you're a person that people connect with. So, you know, with a confidence and with, you know, prayer to God and just faith, you know, we're going at it, and it's scary. It's scary, and I just want to say to anyone out there that's thinking of any transition, you know what? Yeah, fear is going to get in your mind, and it's going to be there. And not only your own fear, but other people's fear is going to be there. And fear and procrastination, like the biggest things that are just, and I just snap myself out of it. Like I really try to remind myself, like, snap out of it. You know what? Like, yeah, it's okay to be scared. Everyone's scared. You know what? At the end of the day, like, you went through worse.
Right.
You know, like, and this is money, this is business, and you'll get through it. It's a learning process. What's the worst that could happen?
Right. So a lot of emotion that gets to it, you know, especially when you're good at what you do, it's for some people, it's like, they just can't, it's like, if I forgot what's the name of it, but it's an effect from a mother where the mother can only see you as a child, right? And they have no idea that, like, cool, your child is an entrepreneur, your child is a speaker, your child is a lawyer, or this and that. But they just know you for their child. They just know you as that one title. And, you know, if you decide to do something, you know, that is outside of that title, it's like, yeah.
Well, it's crazy that you say that because I'm going to give you a little story. My dad, you know, old school Greek, came to this country, practically nothing, opened up a painting company, you know, busted his ass, worked really hard. Saw, you know, raised 3 daughters, put them through school. You know, he wasn't able to ever relate to me being a lawyer. He saw me behind the desk, you know, kind of like, he's like, well, what do you mean? You're not going to court every day? I'm like, you know, I'm like, no, it doesn't work like that. I'm not going to court. He's like, oh, but just behind the screen, like, you know, like typing away. So that's, what is that? And then finally, when I started with the gym process and I brought him over after we signed the deal and we started construction, you know, the construction team was there. I went in, my business partner went in, I brought my dad, introduced them. He walked outside and he looks at me and he's like, wow, I'm proud of you. And I'm looking at him and I'm like, what? I'm like, you never told me that. And he's like, but you were talking to these men in construction and they were listening to you and they were doing, and he was able to relate to that because he was in the painting industry. He saw his daughter for the first time, like, wow, like I'm looking at my daughter in a different way and I'm able to recognize that. And for me, like, it was a very special moment, but it was also interesting, like old school dad being able to look at that and be like, okay, I'm used to my daughter being this, but now I'm seeing her like this, and I'm actually recognizing it.
Exactly.
You know, so
Exactly.
it was kind of special.
So now you guys have a partnership, and you have the gym. Are you still going to be, obviously, I guess to be clear,
The question that everyone asks.
are you still going to be doing law, right? Obviously, the answer is.
So I'm never gonna, I mean, for those of my lawyer friends that know, your law degree, after all those blood, sweat, and tears and what you go through, especially the New York bar exam, shout out to anybody who's going through that or past that, because we all know it was hell. 6-hour exam, very difficult, takes over your life. But basically, I'm never going to give that up, and I'm always there, and I'm always consulting with my colleagues, other lawyers. Shout out to Costandina Papayodhio, Michael Yakov, two of my lawyer friends that I respect and love very much. And I'm always going to be, doing that with them and doing that with other people. And so I don't know where the next year is going to take me, and that's what makes it interesting in life, right? You don't know. But my immediate plans are to continue to do both. Nice. As long as God gives me the strength, awesome. Because, we all know we need sleep, and that has been lacking, as you could tell, but I'm going to keep going at it and see how we go.
Okay, cool. I mean, yeah, there's so many, it's perfectly fine to say, I do this, I'm a lawyer and I do this, or especially right. If it's, and I own this.
Right.
But from having this new partnership, I guess you kind of touched on it, because a lot of people are thinking about opening a business, but I'm sure there's a lot of people that are thinking about partnerships as well. What is something that what were the things that you had to cross off before you said, hey, you know what, I'm a partner up specifically with this type of person, or who your partner is, right?
Right. So people ask me, like, why aren't you doing this on your own? And I'm like, why would I do it on my own when, number one, I love working in a team setting, and that's what I miss, right? Like, everyone that's been working from home, during this pandemic and misses their colleagues, misses being in that collaborative environment. I'm one of those people. I'm working home over 2 years now. I miss being in that collaborative effort. So that's one thing. I always knew I wanted to be in a collaborative type of effort. And two, again, I'm going to repeat this. I'm not a fitness professional, right? I love working out, but I'm not a personal trainer. I didn't study it. I didn't study sports management. I studied business management. So there are things that I want to absorb from whoever is going to be my business partner. We can't be good at everything. Right. That's what people need to let go. Like, I feel like, in my opinion, you can't be good at everything, and that's okay. Yeah. You're not supposed to be good at everything. You could be good at this, good at that, and then someone else is going to compliment you and be like, "Oh, I'm good at this. Maybe we could work together."
That's what a team does.
That's what a team does. So for me, I really wanted to work with somebody who, number one, was skilled in the fitness world, and number two, respected my take and my opinions on it, and also respected me as a businesswoman, which is another aspect, right? That's a whole other topic. There's a lot of, and I see this as a woman in real estate, there's a lot of men who, may not feel the same way about a woman business owner, a woman in real estate. So, even though we are far where we shouldn't be having that topic, it's still,
I can imagine.
It still happens, right? So I found someone, I'm super lucky that I found a business partner who checks off all those boxes, and we do have disagreements, and I love it because we actually sit and we disagree on something, and then we put it down and say, okay, you know what, should we go this route or that route? How come? And we sit down and we compromise, and it's beautiful. I can even give you an example today. We had a little slip up with our sauna, had like a little dent in it. I was super upset. We went back and forth, and my business partner is just very zen on a lot of issues, and he calmed me down, took the emotion out of it. And I'm like, all right, let's just get this done.
Nice.
So it really is like a very smooth partnership. It really is exactly what I was looking for.
I love that.
Yeah.
Dope. So listen, we're at the halfway point already. through here. And, a lot of people, if you ever seen this and if you've seen this and you're at that point where you're like considering something, a change or a decision you have to make, can I do, I've been doing this for 10 years. Should I try something off, venture something different? What I would say is, yes, you could do both. Like for me, it's like, yes, why not? The worst that's really going to happen is that you learn something from that experience as long as you tried it out. And that's kind of what happened with the podcast. One day I was like, this was literally mid-pandemic, so I was home anyway, and I was like, I got to do something to pass the time because this is just can't be happening. I'm not the type of person to stay in all day. So I knew like after like day whatever it was, I'm like, there's something that has to be done here that I could do because I'm not cutting hair anytime soon. So the podcast popped up, and I looked at it and I said, how can I make this? How can I make this a platform for me to, reach more people and be able to spread this information forward? And I literally just woke up and said, Google, like how to start a podcast. And I have no background in podcasting. I have no background in camera, audio. You have to make flyers. I have no background in graphic design.
So you learned one design or whatever program you had to learn.
Yeah, no, this is like just YouTube University.
Wow.
Learning
God
from
bless.
YouTube and just asking the right questions.
And hours. Wow. So what was the biggest challenge for you then?
Well, one was just making the decision. This having the decision to say I'm gonna do this, and I'm not gonna tippy toe and like put my toe in the water and try it out. I'm gonna
full force.
Cool. I'm gonna open a barbershop. All right, cool. You should take some classes. I'm actually. You want to start a podcast? Cool. You should take some podcast classes. I'm actually taking a podcast class, which most people probably don't even know exists.
Yeah, I know exists.
Yeah, it's crazy because the podcast world is just like the music industry. I heard that today, and I'm super excited now that it's like compared to the. I saw the comparison of the music industry because I never saw myself as a rapper, but I would love to. I always wanted to. I was interested in the music scene, obviously with hip hop and all the types of music, being a deep, like enjoying DJing, and I wanted to always be in that scene, but I never rapped before. I can't. Singing is like so. Once I realized there's like the podcast scene is very similar to the music scene, where when you're an artist and you drop a song, great, you could have got a ton of hits on that song, but you could also be a one-hit wonder.
Right.
Same thing. I could have one episode.
That's amazing.
Maybe it gets 10,000 hits or whatever it is, 1 million views. But do you have any content after that? So again, I think that's the decision. To answer your question, it was the decision to actually say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do 100 episodes. I'm going to do this until.
And did you get that backlash? Like, did you get the questions like I got? Kind of like, what are you doing or why?
No, what's so? Again, I think I'm just the type of person that says when I make a decision, I'm going to do it no matter what anyone says. And even if they're, people say that I try to tend to stay away from negativity, or like I guess I ignore it in a sense. I got so good at just like
so good
dodging it.
I'm reading a book now, The Courage to Be Disliked.
Okay.
Courage to Be a Japanese author.
I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, but that's so good that you're able to channel that and kind of get away.
It's again, I just understood the vision behind it, and I know that where I'm currently at isn't gonna get me to where I want to be. So I have to do something different. I have to learn something different. If it was just as good as being a talented barber and having a brick and mortar storefront, then I feel like anybody could do it.
Right.
But it's just not the case. And the same thing with gyms, right? If it was so easy to be in shape, to be healthy, to know all the tips, but to also run a gym, then why isn't everyone that's fit owning a gym?
Yeah. I see these really talented fitness professionals that I'm like, why aren't they opening something up?
Right.
You know, it's. I think you have to have a little bit of everything, and kind of have a collaborative effort where you work towards that.
What is the, with the whole, and this is probably one of the last things I ask you with the, before we transition is, emotionally I guess you guys didn't have like a grand opening or anything, did you?
No, so we're opening in October.
Awesome.
We started construction in July.
Cool.
So July was that moment of like, holy shit, this is happening. We were negotiating, believe it or not. So with this current space, we were negotiating from February to July. So how many months is that? Like 6?
February, yeah.
Yeah. So and I do negotiations for a living. So this was the hardest negotiation I've ever done because it was like for me, and I'm like, wait a second, I'm negotiating for myself, not for my client, not for anyone else. Like it's for me.
Right.
So I kept having, like I said before, putting that emotional element. Like, someone on the deal at one point had my blood pressure so high, I was like ready to just snap. And I'm like, whoa, like you can't do that, But I was so like, and someone asked me like, do you want this space? I'm like, I want this space. I need this space.
Nice.
I'm gonna have this space. And so, yeah, it was very intense, but it was 6 months of back and forth negotiations. And then July, which happens to be my birthday month, was when we signed off and started everything.
There we go.
Very symbolic, I guess, for me, and it was crazy.
Shout out to the July babies,
yeah,
right?
Cancers.
So let's tap into this part. I want to go into the gym aspect now because again, this is the field that you're stepping in. And everybody that's tapped in so far. Calvin, what's going on, brother? Ash, I see you. And Facebook, I see you on here. YouTube, make sure you drop a like, share this content, and if you got any questions, personally, if you want to answer real estate questions, I don't know if anyone's gonna have. Somebody was like, she should ask her if how's the real estate market right now. I'm like,
what's funny? Everyone thought we were gonna go into this crazy recession and all this crap, and I'm busy as hell at work, so I'm like, where's the recession?
I do believe I do see the recession. I see the recession part happening, just because you pay attention to the market, but the housing market crash that everyone was talking about, that I haven't seen. And just with my knowledge and having, and I'm not even basing it off of the New York market. I'm actually looking at the Florida market. But
so just so you know, all the transactions I work on are on the national level. I work on every state right now, but New York, and I'm busy as hell.
So the housing market is here for those who are asking about those type of questions. You could ask those too. But I want to get into, as we transition to the last quarter of this, is the business model of the gym, right? Because the fitness industry is one thing. Again, you could be healthy, you could be in shape, you could be knowledgeable, nutritionist. But again, running a team, running a business, having marketing, having branding is a whole thing. And you getting into that now. It's something I'm experiencing now. What do you bring into the table? Because obviously your partner, what you mentioned was he's the more in the physical part, right? He's the trainer. He's I
don't want to say just that because he oh my gosh, he's a building owner. So
He's
a building owner. He owns a building and he has a lot of experience with a lot of things, with multiple tenants and things that need fixing here and there, and so we are just going at it from
What are your day-to-day things? Or what are you in charge?
So today, I'll give you a rundown of today, right? So we started out, we met at the space at 7:30 in the morning to meet a security camera guy. So obviously everyone who has a space needs to have some kind of security system in place, right? So meeting a security guy, measuring mirrors, and basically going through a lot of the equipment aspect. Obviously there's equipment that he's very knowledgeable about, that he trains his current clients that are big hits. And then there's things that I've experienced in the boutique fitness world that he doesn't really know of. For example, I just got certified in spinning. I just got certified in rowing. And I didn't do it to teach. I did it for the knowledge, right?
Great.
I did it because, God forbid, you hire a spin teacher and she doesn't show up, who's getting on that bike? Or God forbid, or if you hire a spin teacher that basically is doing something completely out of whack that's going to hurt somebody,
Right.
you can recognize that and be like, wait a second, what's going on? So I wanted to take the time to educate myself for those reasons. So I've been doing that. Then I'm working with my intern. Shout out to Kalyopi, who's been a godsend. My 17-year-old intern, who's just a great addition to the team.
Nice.
Who is currently trying to work on those college applications and help me with the gym at the same time. So we've been working on the marketing aspect. Obviously, social media is big, and for the time being, for those people that say like, I want to start a business, but I don't have the money to pay $1,200 a month, $1,500 a month for social media, for marketing, for this and that. You know what? Like, ask around. Don't be scared. People will help. You know, I'm lucky to have really supportive people around me, and one of them being my own sister. Shout out to Eleni, who has offered to really help us in the beginning stages of opening a business. Obviously, it costs a lot of money, so she's gonna help us get the social media off the ground and take it from there. But yeah, it's just, there's so many different multifaceted tasks every single day. You know, like you mentioned prior to getting on this podcast about t-shirts and printing merchandise. I'm sure you have a lot of experience in that realm.
It's funny. I don't have too much experience, but shout out to Constantly Create, who was on my last episode, and my boy DJ, who owns, that's one of the store. I was able to learn like a lot of the background of like, drop shipping and things like that, just making it more seamless to have merch. But it's definitely something that I understood it was part of the branding. Right. So like, you guys are gonna have, I'm sure you guys are gonna have your own merch and things like that. One thing that he told me, he was like, listen, you opened up, you guys are opening up a gym, not a clothing brand. Right. Don't get too caught up on, the clothing when your focus was here. Same thing with me, my focus, I opened up a barbershop, and I understand I have to brand somehow. And, if I focus so much on clothing, again, there's nothing wrong with it. I have a good friend of mine, Queen's Finest, shout out to Queen's Finest, Mickey. They have, he's a barbershop and clothing apparel. But it's something that he pre-planned, he had that plan, where it all worked out. A lot of people start a business and don't understand, like, your main focus was this. Right. Double down on what you were good at.
You can't do it all at once.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And someone actually told me that you don't need to offer the entire kitchen sink in the beginning. You can just, slowly, upgrade. I mean, we experienced one thing for those out there that know a little bit about the construction industry and the cost of lumber. We experienced one thing where we wanted to do stadium seating for our spin room.
Wow.
And we wanted the bikes to be elevated, and we went back, and the cost of lumber is up. And then just the liability issues and certain things that go with that, hand in hand, we had to go back to the drawing board and say, okay, so we can't do this now. What can we do instead? And then kind of just get creative, like what will give the same effect now, and it doesn't feel like we're selling people short on the experience. And that took some time to just make that decision. And again, it took taking the emotion out of it and being like, okay, right now as a business, this is what we can do. I get it. It might not be Disney World, but you know what? Right. It's a little part of Magic Kingdom, and soon we'll get there.
Nice.
We'll get to the whole entire, thing.
So, you mentioned marketing. What are some things that you guys are doing with marketing that's something you guys are going to implement or already have implemented?
Well, first, thank you for having me here. This is a little portion of shouting out the gym and marketing. But so right now we are talking to a few parks to see if we can do some freebies outdoors before it gets
like
cold. Classes, sports agility, yoga, different things, even meet and greets. We're trying to see if we can do some of that. Obviously, a lot of merch. We're going to be giving out a lot of free stuff. And then once our sauna and certain things are installed, we're going to give some VIP visits where people can come. And before we're really up and running, get a little tour, get a sauna, get some sauna treatment,
Nice.
get a cold plunge if you dare go on the cold plunge.
I'm about the cold plunge.
Did you ever do that?
Yeah, I'm about it. I love cold plunge. I'm just a cold shower person
Oh, that's
in general.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's really. Did you ever do cryo?
No, I haven't. But shout out to Keith at Recovery NYC. He was telling me about cryo as well. Just giving me a few pointers on it. But yeah, I haven't tried it.
Cryos. So I've done the chamber cryo therapy, and that for 3.5 minutes. That's phenomenal. Intense. And my dream was to actually have one of those, but at the moment,
like just personally,
to bring those in the facility,
gotcha.
Have a cryo chamber, but. That's a long-term goal because one of those machines starts at 100,000. So we're gonna put that on the board.
Wait, one of those cryo machines is 100,000.
Yeah, the actual chamber starts at 100,000.
I know, like to use it for 3 minutes is like $40-$50, right? Something around there.
Right.
So interesting.
Yeah. So I go to Next Health in Midtown. Shout out to Next Health. They have an amazing facility where they do all of that cryo, lady sauna, vitamin drips. They're very skilled at what they do. They're a Cali company, and so that chamber in itself is very expensive. But long-term goal, it's coming to Astoria Queens in the future.
Wow, awesome. So you got the marketing game plan down pat. In the gym, in the fitness world as a gym owner, right? So like in barbering, I'll give you an example. Back when I first started barbering, this is almost 10 years ago, there was only so many different ways that you could make money. Well, obviously, one of them was physically cutting hair. The other one was owning a barbershop. Those are the main two ways. Now there's people that have gym models where you have trainers, you have supplements, you have, again, the recovery, stuff like that. Like, what's a business model that is something that's, that you guys are implementing across the board that's,
So one of the things is that
memberships,
it's not going to be, there's no open gym concept, right? And we don't want that where it's like just people coming in working out. We want everything to be kind of just guided.
Cool.
And not because of the monetary aspect, also because of the knowledge and form. No one gets hurt, but there is a cost associated with someone being with you one-on-one and taking your time. It is higher obviously than going to Planet Fitness, right? Paying $10 a month. There is a
Planet Fitness is more of a mainstream gym than a boutique gym, though.
Right. So that's not what we're looking to do. Not to have anyone just come and work out. We are opening up the space to trainers who want to bring their clientele and have them work there. We actually have,
which is another stream of income.
Right, and we have 2 people already interested in doing that. We had some interesting requests where there's someone who does like wood therapy. So gua sha and wood therapy. I don't know if you're familiar. So
what is
so it's basically gua sha is a stone, sometimes used on the face and the body. And so it decreases inflammation, releases toxins, and it helps heal. It's a different healing modality, right? Keith knows all about that. So there are some people reaching out to us to see if they can come once a week and offer that. There are people asking if they can offer massage once a week. So we are trying to get a nice schedule with some creative individuals to see how they can fit in this model. We have an amazing yoga instructor, shout out to Alex if he's listening, who is eager to join our team and who we love to teach a yoga or meditation class as well. And we do have, you have to come see the space because it's very unique. It's a little deceiving when you look at it from the outside, almost like this space, right? Because you look at it from the outside and you don't know what's going on in the back.
Right.
So it's kind of like the same where it keeps going, and then there's like a separate room that we're going to use for yoga, meditation, and different modalities that, say, your average gym people, wouldn't do or might not consider. Whereas if they see it there, maybe they will. Maybe they'll try something different. So we kind of want to just push people out of their comfort zone, out of their element, and say, hey, why not? Why not try a spin class? But you know what? Like, hey, my gym offers this. So I might take personal training and I might do a spin class. I might do a yoga because it's here.
Right.
So that's kind of where our business model, where it's like, you know, we're not just a CrossFit gym. We're not just this. It's diverse.
You're not boxing yourself in, saying like, hey, this is just what we do. We do yoga. We do recovery. We do.
Right. I'm not just a barber. I'm not just a lawyer.
Very
I'm not, you know, like it's
like
okay.
that.
It's okay to try other things, and you might like more than one, and that's totally cool.
So other than marketing and you know, a lot of logistics, I'm sure you guys, you know, take care of. Anything else that you take care of, like as far as you know, again, because there's people that are opening up businesses, especially thinking about opening up gyms and looking at different ways to monetize. And you know, I feel like a lot of people, again, it's like obviously the membership is one way. Having specialized classes, whether it's yoga, spin, things like that, that's another way. I'm like, do you guys do supplements and
So
things?
we do have someone reaching out to us about supplements. We have someone reaching out to us about meal prep, food. We haven't solidified all of that yet, but it is on the back burner. So food, supplements, that's something. Another thing is going back to what you mentioned about merch and clothing, though. I do want to say one thing, as someone who like has purchased different apparel, sports apparel and stuff. I do think that sometimes you get something at a gym and it's just like a shirt with the logo, and then you wear it and you sweat in it, and then you kind of throw it out, or you wear it to sleep, and it kind of, because it kind of, the material is just whatever and not whatnot. And that's one thing that we actually, both my business partner and I, feel very strongly about.
Nice.
He's always about dry fit. I'm always sweating. I don't want to, you know, whatever. As a guy, like I want to feel like, you know, okay. And then, you know, us too, like I'm like, I don't want it to be too tight here. I want it to be, you know, like, kind of like
specifically workout theme.
Yeah, I don't want to just, so that's something we've been not struggling with, but it's a challenge because the higher quality you go, the more expensive it is, and you kind of don't want to sell yourself short because you're giving people something where you're putting your logo on it and you're like, here, work out with this, but like, well, really, can I?
I'm gonna connect you with my boy DJ.
Yeah, please
I'm gonna connect you with my boy DJ.
Connect me, because right now, some of the best fitness apparel that I have been loving is by a fitness woman named Heba from Evolve Nation, and she has really crushed the game in really researching the material and kind of just really like creating something really good for men and women. And I've been speaking to a fashion designer friend of mine, just trying to pick her brain to see. But yeah, please connect me, because I think that even though your gym doesn't have to be about apparel, or, you know, that it's something that you should consider, I think, because we're all getting sweaty and working out in t-shirts and sweatpants.
We ain't trying to sweat in uncomfortable clothing anymore.
Right, or look like a mess too.
Right.
You know, that old school look of like, right, being at the gym, like you kind of want to look a little presentable. You don't want to look
Step up your game. Yeah. Step up your jerk game when you're at the shop.
You want to do that selfie and look kind of cute.
I feel that. So we've been on here almost at an hour now. So, you know, as I close this out, you know, again, if anybody has any questions, YouTube, Facebook, if you're on here, you know, if you got any questions about the real estate or the fitness industry, or you know, just want to say hello, make sure you say hello. But I have two more questions, and one of them is being in, you know, the person who is, you know, made the decision that says, hey, you know, I'm going to take that leap of faith. I'm going to do something different. And yes, I'm going to do something different, but I also have to still be at where, you know, my law, you know, doing law. So, you know, how do you create balance as someone who is still passionate about law, still passionate about what they're currently doing, but now you got an idea or a seed in your brain, that's in your heart, that said, hey, you know what, I'm going to open up a gym, or I'm going to open up whatever business. And, you know, now I could have, you know, again, just like when I opened up the shop, it wasn't smooth sailing. It was pandemonium, like for the first till today. And, you know, how do you create that balance of, work-life balance at the moment?
So hard. I mean, I'm sure you've experienced it too. Like, not. I mean, work-life balance. Like, to wearing so many hats, being right. Like in my situation, a daughter, a granddaughter, a sister, a friend, a cousin. Being good. I mean, just last night I was out with a friend who asked me to be her bridesmaid at her wedding, and even carving out that time. Shout out to Monica in Paris getting married in May. But
Shout out to them.
carving out that time where you're like, okay, you know what? Like I have to allocate this time and just really be disciplined and like, you know what? Now I'm just focusing on this because sometimes my like ADD kicks in too, where I'm just like, hold on a second, no, I got to do a million things at once, and you got to organize yourself and be like, okay, hold on, this time it's no phones, it's family time, no business. This time it's this, and I actually found myself. I just came back from a vacation, which I selfishly took because of that reason, because I needed to take time for me. And that's so many people do not do that, where they take time for themselves and then they burn out. I was actually on the plane with a woman who was in finance for many years and burned out.
Right.
And she got herself sick and then got better, thank God, went to FIT, got a fashion degree, and now is doing an e-commerce site.
Wow.
Amazing.
Hold on. I gotta meet this lady.
Yeah, no, I will connect. I was like, wow, this is destiny. I'm just sitting next to this woman who's just, amazing. But
Right.
It took that. And it's like, why get to that point? Like, we all got to take a step back and be like, hold on a second. Like,
That's
what?
it.
Yeah, take a step
That's
back.
it.
Like, you can't work 80 hours a week. Like, I found myself too. Like, I was like, wait, why am I always sick? Why do I have a headache? Why do I have stomach issues? Why is all this happening? And it's because there's no balance. We're killing ourselves. And unfortunately, it took something like the pandemic to kind of get people to face the mirror and be like, whoa, we need to change something. We need to create a podcast. We need to create a gym. We need to do something. We need to serve the community to get our voice out there, But yeah, work-life balance is a challenge, and I struggle every day. I write a lot. I remind myself of things. I try to prioritize. I make weekly goals, daily goals, and I have a really good supportive network of friends and family who really ground me, and I'm grateful for that.
Nice. That's crazy that you met someone that's in that situation that says, hey, you know what? I've been doing this, and I'm going to completely do something.
I was like, wait a second, was this planned? Did you know I was sitting here? It was crazy.
So,
by the way, I have to say I'm getting questions through text, but not here.
Okay, cool.
I gotta tell them to like put these questions here.
Listen, we could get to them. What's one of them? I can read them.
Oh my gosh. No, I got my friends saying shout out that they appreciate the shout outs. Nice. That we look really nice. No questions, guys. Don't be texting me. So send some questions.
That's funny. Again, if you have a question, that's cool. But shout out to everybody that's been tuning in thus far. I guess the last question that I personally have, and this is something I think about often, is especially when I make a decision to do something or really just be on purpose with something. And I know that I'm on purpose with it because other people's opinions are, hey, what do you know about podcasting? Or hey, what do you know about running a business? Hey, you've never been an entrepreneur before. What do you know about this? What do you know about that? And it takes a lot to be able to protect your vision, protect your energy, protect your your own beliefs. And I'm sure, especially when you're good at what you do, like really good at what you do, again, cutting hair or being, in law or whatever the case may be. So, what is it was it a book that you read? Was it a mindset thing? Was it a mentor that you said, you know what, cool, all the people's opinions about this move I'm about to make is really just going to go in one ear and out the other. What do you credit that to, and what would you say to somebody that is in that same position as your the person that you met on the plane, or even yourself, like if you had to do it all over again, and
I wouldn't change a thing if I had to, but if I wouldn't change a thing.
Right.
But one thing I would credit hands down is my mother, being raised by a strong mother who unfortunately I lost at a very young age at 52. This October will be 6 years, and I was raised by a very, very strong mother.
Shout out to mom.
Yeah, my mother Flora. I'm the woman I am today because of her, and she had me at a very young age, at 21 years old, and I just watched her bust her ass and put herself in situations where, for example, she didn't have an accounting degree, but yet she was doing bookkeeping and accounting. She didn't, she got a real estate license and was managing properties at a high level with not that much experience. She was running a painting company, with not that much experience. She was raising kids.
She was hustling.
She was hustling, and then it took losing her, unfortunately, for me to sit back and be like, how did this woman do all of this? And she was a superhero. And I said, you know what, like, if I came from this woman, then you know what, then I have part of her inside of me, and I can do it too. And I'm not going to let the fear or people kind of just ruin my vision. I'm going to keep that strength within me. I'm going to keep that forte, within me, and I'm going to keep progressing on that path. And you got to put the blinders on. I know it's hard out there to just put the blinders on, but guys, don't listen to the nonsense. Like, really just put the blinders on, and just, if you are passionate about something, if you are hardworking, just bust your ass and keep going. Don't listen to anybody. I don't care if it's family. I don't care if it's friends that you've had since you were 10 years old. You're going to find that those people are the ones that are going to have the most opinions, and they're going to be negative, unfortunately, because a lot of them are fearful in their own life and they're stuck. And let's not subcontract our choices to others. Let's have our choices be our choices. And it's hard. I know it's hard, and I struggle with it every day, but put the blinders on and keep going.
I love that. Where can people find you? Where can they follow Forte, gym?
Yes,
where can they follow you and connect with you?
So if you are in Astoria and you want to peek in to see a sneak peek of the gym, it's 20th Avenue and 38th Street, right by the Dollar Tree. I'm there every morning. Come say hi. Follow me on Instagram at Descu, Forte Lab NYC. Shout out again to my business partner, Apostoli. And yeah, come by, say hello, shoot me a DM. Thank you again for having me. I really appreciate it. I'm so honored to be here today.
Thank you. Last drink.
Cheers.
I appreciate you. And speaking of, we were talking about marketing earlier. Next week's episode, Wednesday, 9 p.m. EST, we're gonna be talking about social media marketing. So perfect for your protege who's helping you at the gym. Your intern. Yes, your intern, or anybody that's into social media marketing. We have our good friends at the Boys Co. Specifically, I want to speak to my homegirl Ryvie about social media marketing. They've been killing it. They have their own social media marketing platform where they help other businesses promote on social media, and I'll be picking their brains, learning how to promote on social media now with all the different platforms, the reels, the TikToks, and all these different things. Yeah, so we're gonna connect with them. So if you're into social media marketing, you have a small business, you want to learn how to promote, the importance of marketing and things like that, and branding, tap in next week. But for everyone else that's been tapping in, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. We are live in the cut, and I appreciate you guys again. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.